Dukkha. For real. I've been conflicted by the brighter things, the difference of contrast that circulate the air. A strange love affair, but I ain't never been prepared. Her words were poetry, my ears became a listener. I used to be a prisoner, but not by choice. I never used to use my voice, distracted by the noise. I wake up, I can't even name the day of the week. Man, I'm too oblique and meek for me to critique. Man, I'm done with the labels of things that were given a name. Trying to reconfigure it, consider something bigger. But tell me why everything important is just always a whisper. Too rapid like the rivers, your brother, your sister. I'm twisted like twisters, with my mind to take pictures.
Hello everyone, and welcome to our new podcast called Unlocking Bars with Noah and Matthew. Our first guest today is Dukkha. So hello Dukkha, how are you today?
What's up, guys? I'm doing great, man. How are you guys?
We're doing
We're
really
doing
good.
good.
Thank you.
Excellent.
To start off, tell us where you're from, or who is Phil the man?
So I'm from I'm from Bergen County, New Jersey, Paramus to be exact. Pretty big town, about 15 minutes away from New York City, heavily influenced, but still a suburb, you know. And then Phil the man it's a very good question, to be quite honest with you. I would say that there's anything that I find of interest, I almost become obsessed with it in a way that if I'm learning about something, I want to make sure that I have a full understanding for it. And that could be for anything. It could be like for music, it could be art, it could be sports, it could be just people, you know what I mean? So I would say that Phil the man is someone that's intrigued with learning.
What is the meaning behind your artist name, Dukkha?
Well, it comes from Buddhism. So what Dukkha is, in Buddhism, there's a thing called the Four Noble Truths. Okay, so you have nirvana, you have karma, you have dharma, and then you have dukkha. So pretty much what dukkha is it's suffering, it's anxiety, it's depression, it's the feeling of overcoming all of that. You know, because I feel that in my journey in life, I've dealt with many things that have deterred me from things that are positive, you know. And there's moments in your life where you sit there and you think and you try to understand what's going on, but sometimes you don't find an answer. So pretty much what dukkha is to find an answer to anything that makes you feel a negative way.
Who are the hip hop artists that influenced you to want to become a hip hop artist?
Well, my first ever favorite hip hop artist was Biggie Smalls. I would say when I was probably your guys' age, I listened to Machine Gun Funk for the first time. My cousin was playing it in the car and I heard it and I was just like amazed. You know what I mean? I really had never even listened to rap, because prior to listening to rap and hip hop, I was listening to Frank Sinatra. I was listening to Roy Orbison, Dean Martin. My dad even had me listen to opera music. So it just felt brand new. You know what I mean? So I would say that was definitely my first influence. And after that, like I was saying before, I became so intrigued with it. I became so obsessed with learning on, like, what is this? Why do people say this? Like, how does this happen? But this day and age, I would say that my top 5 influences are Biggie Smalls, MF Doom. There's a group called Atmosphere that I love Atmosphere. I love Mobb Deep and Nas, I would have to say. Definitely.
I really like Nas too. We're big fans.
Yeah,
what's your favorite song?
I can by Nas. It's a very good song.
Yeah, I would say
Same for me.
Yeah.
I also like the song named Everything by Nas.
Oh yeah, you guys dig deep.
Yep.
Yeah, nice.
So what other types of genre of music do you enjoy listening to? Do you think that played an influence on the type of the artist you are?
Definitely. I would say that music's universal, right? So I was actually speaking to your dad about this the other day. If you didn't have jazz, you would never have hip hop, you know? So I would definitely say that jazz is a humongous influence on me. Miles Davis, John Coltrane, probably my 2 favorite. My absolute two favorite.
Do you have a style of writing? If so, take us through your process.
I would say before the bars app, I would write to a beat, right? So I would listen to a beat a couple times. I would probably freestyle to it. If I said a couple things that I thought that were cool, I would write them down and then I would just go off of that. But with this bars app now, I've kind of figured out that if I just write something that I'm really, really proud of and that I'm confident on, I can make it work on anything, but it also depends on what you're writing about. So if I'm writing about something that really is like important to me, I'm going to try to find a beat that suits that. Right. But if I'm just writing a verse that is just bar after bar after bar, where you got metaphors and similes and, everything, it's all different. So I would say that now I write something and I'll take like a day or two to write it, and I'll just go through the beats, and on every single beat, I'll just rap the same verse. Right. So,
Right.
and then eventually like you come across that beat and you're like, all right, these two are meant to be together. So that's bars app has definitely changed the way that I write music. 100%.
Give us examples where hip hop was made positive impact when you're going through things.
Hip hop is therapy. Hip hop is 100% therapy, because you could talk to people like me and you could have a conversation, right? And I could tell you like this whole sad story about whatever happened, but you'll never really know how I feel, just because the only person that hears their own thoughts is yourself, right? So I will never get a true understanding. You'll never get a true understanding. Nobody will ever get a true understanding of how you really feel, right? But when you write a verse and you put something really like, doesn't even have to, you don't even care about who listens to it, right? You just want to get it out there. That's the therapeutic part, is that you can just release anything and everything that you want to say, put it out there, and then it's not necessarily gone, but you feel a weight off your shoulders, and then you have people that listen to it and they can relate, and that kind of gives you like a better understanding of like, wow, there are a lot of people out there that may feel the exact same way that I feel, but just in different ways.
When did you first pick up a pen and start writing rhymes? How old were you?
It's funny that you guys mentioned this, because I was actually thinking about this morning. The first time I ever picked up a pencil and I wrote something was after my grandfather had passed away. I was probably about 8 or 9 years old. He had cancer, and he was very influential in my life. He was an artist as well. He was actually an inventor, and he was this old Italian guy that would just smoke cigarettes in his house. But you would come over, and every time I went over in the Bronx, we would just sit down and we would draw, and he would show me different things to draw and everything. He was very influential in my life. And he had passed away, and I didn't get to see him in the hospital before he passed away. And the song that I wrote, I believe that it was called Up, 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 if I'm not mistaken. And it was just like what we were talking about with the therapeutic, So as a little kid, you don't really know like what to think or what to do. You don't even have like a true understanding of what death is, And I wrote that, and I would definitely say that was the first time. And going back to that, I guess hip hop is just emotion. I would have never wrote anything if I didn't feel something. It's funny that you guys
Yep.
bring that up. I was thinking about this morning.
I get you. On the Bars app, you recently linked up with another artist named Mike Lutch off the app and did an InPerson Cypher, which was awesome, by the way,
Thank you.
obviously. How did that happen? Walk us through that.
Mike Luch is a good dude, and anybody that wears a mask, I'm intrigued with. So I, just like the whole part of the Bars app in the beginning was just for me to get my name out there, right? So I successfully did that, and I met all the great guys in NGK, and then out of NGK, there's a million other guys that are amazing, right? So you got guys that live in California, you got guys that live in Florida, Texas, wherever it may be, but I wanted to find the guys that live in New Jersey, right? The people that I could physically meet up with and that I thought were really dope. So I started I started commenting on Mike Luch's stuff, and I said, I have my email in my bio. I said, dude, hit me up, right? not really thinking if he would hit me up or not. He does. He ended up hitting me up. We were texting, going back and forth, talking. I said, I think it's about time me and you make a bars video. So we met up, got some coffee, and we made it happen. And there's another dude named Big D Rex that I don't know if you guys are familiar with on the bars app. He's very, very cool as well. But he actually is working on a bunch of beats for me right now for a project that I'm making. And I sent your dad one of the songs that I made too with his beat on it. So it's all about networking. You got to use your sources, as you guys do very, very well. You know.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Does the Bars app provide a platform for not only virtually networking, but goes beyond? And if so, how?
Definitely does. It definitely does. Like, let's use NGK, for example, right? So it was me, Jules, Snip of the Gray, Bipolar, No Thanks, Marty Diggs, and 412 Easy, right? You had like those core guys in the beginning. Not really thinking that it would be what it is today, right? And now we have a whole merch line. People could buy NGK shirts and hats, and you could even buy a shower curtain if you wanted to with NGK on it. You know, so I would definitely say that outside of the lyricism and outside of music, there's like a greater meaning to all of it, you know, because everybody has ideas, but the Bars app is really just for individuals to put their heads together and come up with great ideas and try to get it out there.
What projects are you working on for the Dukkha brand?
The Dukkha brand. I don't necessarily know if I have a Dukkha brand yet, because I have been rapping for a long time, but quite honestly with you guys, I've never put anything out on a platform that I could say was me, right? I would mess around, or I didn't necessarily have the correct recording equipment. But like you were saying before, with the networking and the outside perspective of everything, I'm making connections now where I can go into a studio and I can really make everything happen. So to answer your question, Matthew, I guess I'm working on an album that I've had an idea of for a very, very long time. It's called Many Minds of One Perspective. I'll leak that out there right now. And it's the dukkha, it's the suffering, it's anxiety, it's depression, but it's also the incapability to please others, but to only fulfill what you feel that you need. Right. So it's just many different ideas on one topic. So that, I guess I'm just going to brand myself off of my music, and whatever feedback and whatever I get off of that is, I'll just rock with it. I try to let everything be natural. You know, I think that's most important.
That's awesome. So before we end today, can you unlock some bars on us right now and give us the Dukkha experience?
You want me to freestyle or
Sure.
rap something? I grew up with divorced parents, right? And they got divorced around like I was 10 years old. And I would say that had a very big influence on me in my life, right? So I would say that this song, there was a moment in my life where I sat down and I thought about everything. And not a matter of taking anybody's side, I just spoke for myself, right? So it goes, I've seen agony in her eyes and anger in his heart, but the story is very long, I just don't know where to start. Arguments over nothing but the voice of which just echoed through the room. Every day for me was a day of doom, but I knew an opportunity would present itself someday. Mama said one day that she would win the lottery. I would pray every night for someone to help, but I would scream and yelp. But his kindness and passion was always covered up with hate, no room to negotiate. And for a long time, I've been hoping for the same thing, but I know it's never going to come true. But it doesn't make sense to me. The only thing that they agreed on was I did.
Wow, that was amazing.
Thank you, man.
Dabs for that. Dabs for that.
I appreciate that, guys.
I be running and I'm searching and I think I'm out of time. I be writing and I'm rapping and I'm just trying to rhyme. Sometimes we just don't know what to do. I just need a different view.